Good morning, Greenville Community Church. On behalf of my family, Marlene, my wife, my daughter Mackenzie, who's studying at U of M, and my son Austin, let us say to you, thank you for allowing us to be your pastor and family here at GCC. We love serving alongside of you and serving in the Lord's kingdom. My call to ministry started very early when I was a teenager. Growing up in North Branch, there were two things that were taught to me very clearly. One was by my dad, and my dad taught us as kids that we were going to take care of our family. And in order to take care of your family, you needed to make lots of money. And so from that, I knew that I wanted to be in some sort of field that made lots of money, and so I thought of medicine. Well, I also grew up in a church that emphasized that you needed to commit your heart and soul and all of your body to the Lord. And so I was saved at 6. I consecrated my life when I was 10 years old. I told the Lord, I will give you 100% of my life. And in so doing, I knew that I both wanted to make money, that my dad taught me, and I wanted to serve in the Lord's vineyard, basically in His kingdom in some way. So I thought if I could be a doctor, and if I could help people, if I could tell them about the Lord in the process, I could do both and. So I wanted to go to U of M to be a cardiologist or a neurologist. Well, the Lord had other plans. In 1984, on December the 27th, I was in Chicago at a youth convention. John Maxwell was preaching. He was preaching on Isaiah 6, where Isaiah received his call to ministry. Essentially, Isaiah said, "Here am I, Lord, send me." And at the end of that sermon, John Maxwell gave a call to the altar for anyone who wanted to be a full-time Christian minister, either a missionary or a pastor. And before I knew what was happening, I stood up, headed toward the altar, and I was 2 or 3 steps away from my friends seated there on the second row, I believe it was. Looked back at them, kind of shrugged my shoulders. They looked at me like, "What are you doing?" And it was as though the Holy Spirit picked me up and moved me to the altar and said, "Joel, I want you to be a minister, and I want you to pastor." And so the Lord changed my mind from being a doctor of bodies, if you will, to be a doctor of souls. I pursued ministry at Indiana Wesleyan University, further training at Asbury Seminary, where I got my master's, and was ordained in 1993 and have been in ministry for 23 years. And I get to pastor at a Wesleyan church alongside of people like you who love the Lord, and I love doing it. Thank you for letting me do so. God bless you.
Well, I, for one, am extremely glad that Pastor Joel heeded the call. As you notice, neither one of us are wearing our glasses.
There's a reason for that.
My story's a little bit different. I grew up as a young man who probably from that's not Spanish. Okay, I grew up with a lot of changes, and with those changes came family dysfunctions, and with family dysfunctions came a young man with some deep insecurities. So as part of a very dysfunctional home, I longed to be able to be a part of something that gave me a sense of identity and acceptance and affirmation. Hence, I started playing guitar and played guitar at the age of 14. By the time I was 16, I was playing in clubs.
Crazy, isn't it?
So what do you do at 16 without boundaries? You grow up fast, and too fast. I was very, very empty early in my life, and realized that no matter what I did and no matter how close I got to the next level that I thought was going to be success, I found myself very empty and longing for something real. Well, I knew that darkness was real. I knew that emptiness was real. What I wanted to know is life real? Can I experience real life? Then I met Jesus. All I can say is, wow. Now I don't have time to go into the details. All I can tell you is from meeting Jesus to knowing that God called me, to going into different forms of ministries, going to school, getting ordained in 1995 with the particular denomination that I was in, all the way to the day where I finally come in through these doors at Greenville Community Church, and there is a position available for a worship pastor. And today I am in a place where I see my life came full circle from different forms of ministry to the place that I was when I started, loving music, using my instrument to worship God now, as opposed to worshiping myself or the things of this world, and finding just absolute joy in serving this church and serving my Lord. So thank you for the opportunity to be your worship pastor. I'm so glad to be here, and I'm so looking forward to what God has in store.